Welcome to the Impactful Engineer Project. I'm Steve Maxey, and with my co-host and brother Jake, we are here to bring you guidance, fresh ideas, and the tools to help you become an impactful engineer.
Welcome to the Impactful Engineer. We help you, we try to help you grow your engineering career. One of the things, though, that I wanted to hit on that we haven't been lately is that we also want to bring awareness and access to the engineering world as well. Now, accelerating your career and the tips, tricks, and things like that, and the strategies that will help you do that also will help you have access. But part of our mission, believe it or not, is to actually bring in folks that otherwise would not have discovered engineering as a viable career path. And so the last episode we did, and I recommend you go listen to it, was with Chris Jasinski, and he's with Rhode Island ACE Mentorship Program, which is a nonprofit to help bring awareness and access to architecture, engineering, and construction. So go check it out. Episode 90?
90.
What was the last one? 90.
I'm pretty sure it's 90.
There you go. All right. I'm Jake Maxey. I'm a professional engineer. Think MEP engineering in the construction industry. Across from me by about, 1,500 miles or something like that is my brother Steve. He's a mechanical engineer, has a diverse background, works in product development. Works in product development. There you go.
Yes. As an engineering manager. Yeah.
As an engineering manager.
Yes, I manage.
You manage to fuck it all up all the time.
Every day.
Whenever I get a call from one of my engineers, they're like, or I call them, the first thing they say is kind of our thing. Is like, oh God, what did I break? and I every time I say all of it, everything.
What haven't you broken?
Yeah. Tell us about the episode type, Steve. Catch people up if they're listening for the first time.
Yeah, absolutely. So our most common episode type is like this one. Jake and I will present a topic. We introduce some of the why and how around that topic, and we do our best to give tips around it to inspire some action to better your career. Occasionally, we will do quick solo episodes where either Jake or I, mostly Jake, but I do it as well, jump on for about anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes, and we just have something top of mind that we really want to get out to the world, and so we jump into it, and it's going to make you better, guaranteed. And finally, about once a month, sometimes more than that, sometimes a little less, we do have a guest on the show, and we bring an expert in a particular field to share their perspective, mindset, and actionable tips around their area of genius to also further improve your career.
Well, let's be honest. We just bring friends on or people that are interested.
Well, yeah, that's true as well. But they're usually experts.
But they always have really good stuff. Really good stuff.
They do. And oftentimes much better than what we bring ourselves.
Yeah, it's a little more engaging and fun, too. Every once in a while, we got to bring someone in,
Yeah.
Just
absolutely.
Always talking to you is just, ugh.
I know. Stare at your ugly mug.
I'm just kidding. What are we talking about today? What do we leave people with? That's going to be awesome.
Yeah. So, 2 episodes ago, we did have an episode around goals, right? And usually after goals, we have reviews on those goals. And what I'd like to talk about is expectations and what people view as the difference between like meets expectations and exceeding expectations. Because most people think that, oh yeah, I'm an awesome engineer. I get all my stuff done on time. I make the margins that I'm supposed to do. All the deliverables are complete, et cetera, et cetera.
People in the 360 review that answered out of 30 said I had exceptional skills in something.
Exactly.
Like
Yep.
Yeah.
And they're like, you know what? I'm awesome. I am exceeding expectations. I am a rock star. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Nobody knows what that means.
Yeah. Guess what?
Especially
guys?
the company setting those.
Yeah.
They don't know what it means either.
Yeah. So, but guess what? You're just meeting the expectations. That is what is required of the position. So what is required? Meeting deadlines, right? meeting cost and margin targets, if that's a metric that you follow. Um, Doing all of your work. Those are things that are meeting expectations. You are required to do those things to be successful in your job.
Yeah.
So you are
Yep.
not a rock star or exceeding and etc.
Check yourself.
Yes. So
It's a hard one, man.
it,
It's
it,
a
it
hard
is,
one.
and it's a reality check. I mean, I've been there too. I thought I was kicking ass, and then all of a sudden get smacked in the face and be like, no, dude, you're just making it cool.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
you're like, oh, well, crap. So how do we get above that? How do we exceed those expectations? If you're just working to these timeline goals and project deliverables, etc., how do you set yourself apart from everyone else who is also meeting those same metrics and get that recognition as a star player?
Yeah, to set yourself up to be a rock star, it's like I think a year ago Jake would have been like, all right, well, let's go to the team, right? Let's go to the supervisor and let's like talk about what that means. But nobody really has an answer. It's
Mm-hmm.
they just kind of like, this is my experience anyway. It's like, and it's no fault of anybody's. It's just like, and this is more about just shifting responsibility, right? And taking ownership. But it's like nobody knows. They think they treat it like, oh, they're getting antsy about something, and okay, let's give them a response, and if they like it and go away and don't say anything, then that's great. Or maybe we give them a couple of things to chew on, and then like make them big enough to where they're not going to ask again for like 6 months and go, yeah, if you just really tackle this, and like that's what I need, man. And like, okay, cool, but I find myself never having gotten a definition of what does
Yeah.
exceeding expectations mean, or like being able to like say it, like, hey, guys, I'm not here to screw around. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I really want to be put in the position to be one of the best and to do whatever you think needs to be done, to where we're not following a regular path. We're breaking barriers. We're crushing through ceilings. This is the energy, and this is where, and that's like, I don't know. I feel like that's what a high performer feels like. If you're more just like, oh, let's just see what I should be doing to get a good review, that's not like what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like, I don't know what the future looks like, but I know that I just want to crush it, and I don't want to be stuck in this scale of whatever pay, effort, reward, risk. I don't want to be in this area,
Yeah, you
and
want
I
to
think
level up.
I want to level up, and I find it hard. Like no one's been able to define that for me. So what I would recommend to up your level and get to the next level is to point right directly back at yourself. What do I do? And this goes back to your goals episode, which is like, what are the inputs?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Give me the things that I need to be doing over and over and over again that means I'm exceeding expectations. Right. And I think if you can just get an idea of what drives the company and what people expect to be done, and then just fucking 10 times that, if they say, oh, it's like, yeah, I need your profits to improve or your margins to improve by this X percent for 2025. It's like, okay, well, I'm going to do 5 times that. If it was 10, I'm going to do 50.
Mm-hmm.
And it's up to me. No one's going to tell you how to do 50. And so you have to figure it out and define the inputs and then crush them over and over and build the teams that can do it and get the 50. That's exceeding expectations. If you meet 10, 15, 20, you had a good year. You're not exceeding expectations at that point.
Yeah. And, there's two ways to approach that. Most people will just, okay, if the normal 8-hour day, I will meet that percentage, right? Okay, I could just do more and get there, which you can, but that also leads to burnout. So how do you figure out how to be more effective in what you do to get to that baseline percentage in half the time, and then just do the 8 hours of that, and then you can get to your 100% or 50% or whatever that increase looks like.
Right. Yeah. By all means, I'm not saying increase the number of hours that you work.
Yes.
No way. You got to be able to find
out
how to do it. It actually makes you a better engineer anyway.
Absolutely. And you can do it temporarily. Like if you need to do it for a couple of weeks just to figure out what's more efficient.
Yeah, sure.
That's okay. And that's usually how you find out how to be more efficient, is when you put in that extra time and you're like, okay, this is taking way too long to accomplish this. there's got to be a better way. And then that's when your brain starts finding those cracks and holes in the process, and how you can close those up and reduce the time to accomplish the goal. So
Absolutely, dude. And if you approach this like I'm just going to put in a whole bunch of time and then not tell people I am, that's a bad idea. Very bad idea. You're going to end up hitting a brick wall at 50 miles an hour.
Yeah.
You could put in a whole bunch of time and show everybody, right? So you're actually billing the time and accounting for all the hours that you work. And then you're going to get on the radar of someone who doesn't know what they're doing because they got to work so many hours to get it done. It's not going to be seen as that you work really hard and get all the things done for a little bit, maybe.
Yeah.
But then people are looking like, oh, so that's not good either. You got to figure out, and it depends on the culture of the company you're into. If they really love that and you figured out that being exceptional and exceeding expectations means to work 60 to 70, then like by all means do it. Like
if you want,
you found the answer, like do it.
Yeah.
No, seriously. Like I'm a very big proponent of do whatever is the thing that gets the result you want. So if it's hours, do hours. You better like working hours. You better work with your life. It better
that's
not
what I was
burn you
getting
out.
at.
Those things, sure, yeah. So we usually stay like pretty high level mindset stuff, which is fine. We could stay there. I'm dying to give some examples though. And I'm wondering, in the product development world side, like, do you have any examples that are concrete of this?
Yeah, absolutely. So in product development, time is absolutely critical, right? Because the quicker you can sell a thing, the more money you can make for the company, right? So reducing the time to market from concept to launch is super critical and important.
Okay, so take that bucket.
Yes.
And then so time to launch. And then you break that down. What are all the things that get in the way of time to launch? List them out.
Absolutely. Yes.
Right.
And then
break them down
and find what you can do earlier in the process to reduce that time. If you can, normally our process is we have to have design and then we kick off a tooling phase. And in that tooling phase, you order material for the tool and you do the design of the tool. Well, what happens if you just say, well, no, before we kick off the tooling phase, I'm going to order that tooling and do the tooling design before we start making it. And so you cut out all that extra time ahead of time, right? It's because it's going in parallel. And then now when you're ready to go to tooling, you can just immediately start manufacturing that.
And I've got to cut in, Steve, because this is great. And
that's very granular.
Yeah. It's very granular. And people listening are going, well, yeah, duh. They've probably had these types of conversations before too, but let me layer something on top of it that you probably haven't talked about. Okay. Being exceptional, right? And exceeding expectations. Okay. Is inherently a risk in itself because you're not going to be able to exceed expectations and truly exceed expectations and have everyone's buy-in on what you're doing and everybody loves the process you're taking and you never, ever, ever step out of the lines that they've drawn you in because someone could say, well, Steve, we've done that before. And the risk is if you buy the tool early, it could be the wrong thing. And then the customer changes their mind and then blah, blah, blah. And so you're going to meet all of these objections along the way to being great. And that's why most people aren't great because they listen to the objections and then they don't do anything about it.
They're too risk averse. So
you have to break that mindset.
Yes.
Take the risks, take the shot, right? Even if it doesn't work out. If you want to stay safe, stay safe. That's great.
Yeah. And at the bare minimum, you propose all of these different risky actions. You're like, hey, I think we can get to market 6 months earlier if we do this, then this, and this, and this. And the decision makers can say, okay, this one is too risky. Let's not do that. But I like what you're thinking here on this one and this one. So let's go ahead and do these two things. And then
take what you can get.
Now we have 4 months reduction of timing.
Yeah. Yeah. And with everything, I'm not saying go do all these things in a silo on your own either.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
There's so many. Welcome to being a high performer that exceeds expectations. It's not the norm. It's not easy. This is why it doesn't happen for most people. Okay. Just wanted to throw that in there. You gotta push the boundaries, man. The first thing you hear back is resistance from that one person, shuts you down. If you find yourself in that position and it deflates you and it stops your momentum and you go, you know what, this just ain't worth it. That's the pivotal moment where you go, you know what, it is worth it because I want to exceed expectations, and let's go. Let's find a way, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
And I'm just very cautious with it. I would say go around, but it depends. Who you
Yeah.
going around? What's the risk involved in that little micro decision
Yeah.
you're making, right?
Yeah.
You
Is
got
the
to think it
risk
through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is the risk $1 million impact? Okay,
Yeah.
that's something that you gotta, think a little harder on. Is the
Yeah.
risk you don't have a couple drawings ready in time? Okay, that's a pretty low risk,
Yeah.
right?
Take the low
S-
ones. Yep.
Yeah, you take the low hanging fruit, and oftentimes a lot of the risk you can just make the decision yourself if they're a lower risk item, and just take
Mhm.
them and ask for forgiveness rather than permission.
That's right.
You know,
Practice.
yes, um,
Practice with some low risk stuff first.
yeah,
That
build
doesn't
that
have a huge
evidence.
implication. Yeah.
Yeah,
And then when you mess those up, then you go, okay, you don't go, you don't take the evidence of messing up as going, oh, this is not a
don't
good
ever do
idea, and
that.
Jake and
Yeah.
Steve are wrong. It's take the mess up as, okay, let's break down the mess up and see where I faltered. Let's see what I can do differently next time so that this isn't a mess up. And then we're going to move to the next one.
Mhm.
And we're going to build skill and confidence and go, all right, we're going to take an even riskier move next time. And then we're going to take an even riskier move next time. And then at one point, you're going to go for gold, right?
Mhm.
You're going to take the risk, but you'll have practice, right? I'm not saying go jump off the ledge. I'm saying
Yeah.
like build a parachute first, and then make sure the strings are all
Yeah.
there and they're not cut. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Don't jump the whole staircase. Maybe just skip a step.
yeah, yeah.
you know.
Do some
So,
practice. Yeah.
um, let's dive into your world a little bit. What is a tactical thing that someone in the MEP industry can do to exceed excellence?
Hey, my fellow impactful engineers. If there's one thing that you could do to help out this community, it's to keep listening to the podcast, but also if you found value in it, to share it with one person, give us a 5-star review, or even leave a text review. It'll only take a few seconds of your time. Find that person that you think could enjoy some of this or learn from it, and pass on the good word. Now back to the show.
Oh my gosh. Definitely not just work a ton. Okay. Pick out the things that are the most important. And I'll give you one for a brand new engineer. Okay. If you're
Perfect.
thinking about, yeah, because that's really who we want to talk to as well. If you're thinking about starting an engineering career in MEP, one of the most important things is that you're able to produce. And what makes you able to produce in this world? Using software. And what do we use the most? CAD and Revit. So do yourself a favor and invest in yourself before you even take the first job. So say you're a junior and you have an internship with your buddy here and he'll put you through the ringer and make you good, but there's huge levels after that. Okay. So you got a taste, you think, okay, cool. When I graduate, I am going to apply and I'm going to try this out. Go do a boot camp. Go get the software on your computer while you're a student because it's free. Design stuff. Do it. Don't take courses. Don't take hour-long videos.
Mhm.
Do stuff.
Yes.
Produce drawings. Get a panel in the model. Get a branch circuit set up, completed. I could go on and on and on. But if you want to exceed expectations, the goal, if we go back to our goal setting episode, the result you want is that you come in, they say, all right, let's start you learning Revit. Let's start small. And you just start ripping through it. And that's the result. What is the inputs you need to do? Do a whole bunch of stuff in Revit over and over again when no one's watching and it's boring as hell. And you wonder why the fuck you're doing it. Keep doing that. And you're going to get that result that you want. And that's going to help you exceed expectations. So
Yeah.
it's things like that. It's things like that.
Yeah, and I mean that directly translates over into product development, right? Yeah, because you have 3D modeling software to design products.
The baseline
It's
is
the
that you're
same
good.
thing. Yeah,
The baseline is that you're good at the software. The
Yeah.
exceeds expectation level is that you can do it in your sleep in half the time that anybody else can do it.
Yeah, make yourself up to the level of a 5-year experienced engineer coming in right out of school, right?
Yeah.
So download the free versions of these softwares and learn multiples. You don't want to just learn one software package. You can download Fusion 360. You can get SolidWorks educational licenses and Autodesk, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It doesn't matter. And just model things, like take things off your desk, model them, go out into the garage or in your shed or whatever, pick something and model it. Just keep modeling until it's just second nature. You know where every single tool is, every feature in the software. And then that way, when you, just like what you're saying, you join a team for your first job, and you're instantly at a level that is already a year or even more in.
Yep. And just specifically for that, like I was kind of alluding to, it's like, don't just sit there and watch videos because you're not taking action. You won't learn it until you do the thing. All right. So, I mean, YouTube and all that's great. Like looking up things is great, but don't spend 2 hours just sitting there watching the video. Like take a chunk, go learn the chunk, take the next chunk, go learn that chunk, and then put all the chunks together. You got to take action.
Yeah. And that actually leads into a point that I want to make that is a little bit higher level, is being decisive on limited information. So make a decision on projects, on anything you're working on with the 80% information, right? You don't have to have every little detail and fact understood to make a decision. You got to be decisive and just make decisions to move your projects along, because if you take too long, you might be able to meet expectations. You're never going to exceed them if you require to have every bit of information before making a decision.
That's right. Yep. For someone already in their career, right? Like didn't do this prep that we were talking about. You can still do it. So do it inside and outside of work. And yes, I'm recommending that you have a focus inside and outside of work, and that you integrate your life with your career if you want to be one of these exceptional people. Mm-hmm. All right. And it's like, don't accept what an exceptional person is from the people around you. They want you to believe that you're exceptional just the way you are and what you're doing, because they want you to stay right where you are and produce for them. Okay. That's just the honest truth. If we just rip away all the other fluffy bullshit that we all hear, it's true.
Yeah, I know.
They want to tell you one thing. Here's like the ideal scenario for someone in a, not even a management position. Let's say the business owner. They just want this person to do the great job, do the best thing over and over, produce the thing, and just be there and do it.
Yeah. I mean,
really,
it goes back to the saying of, every business needs cogs, right? You need the gears for the entire apparatus to move. And do you want to be that gear? That's okay. If that is what you want in your career, you just want to go to work, 9 to 5, do your job, get your paycheck and leave. Okay, that's cool. But that's not who we're speaking to here in this podcast, right? The people we're speaking to are the people who don't want to be a cog. They want to be the entire transmission. They want to excel.
It's not a diss on anybody. I just want to save you a bunch of time.
Yes.
Like, you shouldn't listen to all the 90 episodes that we have, because it's not going to help you just do your job. And I mean, it may be, you could become a really excellent cog, but like we want to invite and enrich the success of people that have a huge amount of ambition is really who we're talking to.
Yes. And we're not just talking to people who want to be managers either. We're talking to people who want to be amazing individual contributors, high performing engineers, technical experts. So it doesn't, there's two paths, right? In engineering, there's management and technical experts, but there are the upper echelon of performance of both of those paths. So those are the two people what we're talking to.
Yeah. There's plenty of stuff out there and just doing your job is, focus, like stop listening to this and just do your job. We want to add that little extra layer above the just doing your job. And that's really what we're talking about in this episode. Meets expectations, exceeds expectations. I don't know if you guys have caught on to it so far, but what's above meet and to exceed is your own definition, right? And it's very important that you define that in such a way that you leave everybody else not behind, but that you stand out. Because if your definition of exceeding expectations is just meeting them and doing what everybody else does, like, I'm sorry to tell you, but you're not going to stand out, right? Mm-hmm. Unless you're in a company just full of A players, which is very rare. You'll know because it's super fucking competitive, and you're going to go, what the hell did I get myself into?
Yeah, it's
Right.
going to be intimidating.
It's not going to be the, oh yeah, everybody's great and we all get great reviews, and it's just like, you just got to keep going. You know, that's not a company that's full of A players. They're going to talk about different stuff. Right. They're not going to just be
a lot of things we're talking about.
That's right. So
yeah. And one of the other high level concepts I want to talk about that sets people apart is urgency. Being proactive rather than reactive, replying to emails as soon as you can, right? We have talked about not living on your email because it's a constant distraction, and not being able to get your actual work done. But set blocks of time throughout the day that you're like, hey, I'm attacking emails and I'm going to respond to all of the high priority emails during this block of time, right? So you don't want to be like, oh, I don't have a good answer for this person, so I'm just going to ignore that email and ghost them, right? We've talked about that as well.
Right.
Yeah, you want to send a response. Even if you don't have the answer, just send a response, right? So that's a level of urgency. Being proactive, thinking ahead, asking the right questions. If you can do things earlier, those are other forms of urgency.
This is what is going to set you apart. So good concept. Love it. Definitely part of what exceeding expectations is going to mean. So like my personal rule, and I fail sometimes, but is that you do not leave somebody hanging that day. You know, if they send an email at like 4:59 or whatever, I still respond. Like, I know in the past I've said it's okay to leave that to the next day, and it is. I mean, you do whatever you want, really. You set the priority, right? And that person sending the email is probably would think that a reasonable person wouldn't answer it until the next day. But to set yourself apart and exceed expectations, you would answer the email, even if you don't have an answer. Hey, gonna get to this, saw it on my way out, gonna solve this tomorrow, or
blah, blah, blah.
or update you with when I'm gonna have it. Got to think on this a little bit, because there's a core principle behind the human psyche and how people think, especially in a kind of, well, it's a commoditized, unless you have a really specialized niche, which companies do, sure. Most just have big friends in high places and know everybody, and they've gotten there and they're in the room, and so they get the job. But you're a commodity. So you always want to be fighting to separate yourself from the norm and separate yourself from the typical, this is what we can expect from everyone. So you can do that within the business too. But back to the email response. If you leave people waiting for a response and other people are more responsive, they're going to gravitate towards those people. If you leave people waiting too long for a response a lot, and that's the normal, it opens the door for them to go find somebody else because they're done waiting.
Yes.
One day they're going to find out that, man, I really don't like when I send an email to Jake. I can almost guarantee you it's going to be 3 business days before I hear back. That's not good.
Yeah. You're going to go expectations at that point.
Yeah. And someone's going to swoop in and take that from you. And then they're going to be on the hook for responding. And then when they get lax, someone else will take it from them. So you really got to be on it. And that's a communication thing. That's an urgency thing, like you were talking about.
Yeah.
But you can apply that to so many things day to day in your career.
And
urgency.
Kind of the last point of urgency that comes to mind for me is, if you think of something that needs to be done, the most urgent thing to do is to do it instantly, right? The next best thing is, okay, when is the soonest I can do this action item and not disrupt everything else that I'm doing? That is also a very good way to approach that. But when you think of something and you're like, oh, I need to do that, and you put it on a long list and then you just forget about it, that is not being urgent. So,
I recommend you urgent. Actually never do that.
Yes, absolutely.
I recommend that you never put things on a list. It happens sometimes. Sometimes you got to do it, but take this approach. Like, make the strategy to never have a list. If something comes in and you can do it in 5 minutes, just do it.
Yeah.
And I know we've talked about task switching and all the strategies behind that. All right. And those are valid. Those are. And if you're in a block where you are not going to allow interruptions because you're working on something of super high priority, number one, then yeah, you should ignore everything else. Right. But have systems in place and have a strategy to get to everything else once you've done the block. Okay. Because it's part of exceeding expectations. So if something comes in my email and I can answer it in 2 minutes, I will do it. And then I'll go right back to what I was doing before. Clearing those questions out as they come in. If you know the answer, you should answer it. I'm going to make that recommendation and it definitely goes against some things I've said before.
Mm-hmm.
So there, take that. When it comes in, answer it. Okay. And if you know, if the thing that comes in and you know it's going to take you a long time to answer that, respond right away. This is going to take some time. This is going to take some time. I'll update you tomorrow. Know that I'm working on it. And then it goes on the list, which sucks, but that's what the list is for.
Well,
okay, so you can follow up.
And rather than just making a list, what I found is really helpful is book 15 minutes, half an hour, whatever is required for that task on your calendar for the next available time slot. And just
immediately,
like book it in that week or that day, or doesn't matter. And then now you set aside that block of time on your calendar, and you know that you have to work on that thing right then.
Yeah. And super tactical, but don't assume anything. So an email comes in, it's about a relevant project and about a relevant subject. You know, it's been being worked on for a little while, and you go, okay, it's just an update and it'll be easy to respond. I'll do it later today, towards the end of the day. You gotta open the email, read it, open any attachments, and then decide if it's the easy thing to do that you thought it was. And then you can go back, because I can't tell you how many times something has come in. I didn't read it. I made the assumption. And then, so that pushed the time off. And then I got caught up doing something else, dropped my usual MO of being responsive. Shoot, I failed. Come back to it the next day. Did a couple of things I knew were more urgent, then went to the thing. So I'm already failing to respond. Then I get to it. Then I realize I need 3 other people's help to get it done, and that they're all busy, and that I can't get their time. And if I would have just read the damn thing the second it came in, I could have made in open slots in their calendar an appointment to talk to each of them about it. And then that would inform me about how long I'm going to need for a lead time to get this done. I could have sent it right back to the person and said, I need to do this, and I need to meet with so-and-so to get this correctly answered for you. And that's going to take until Wednesday of next week, and you're going to have it. It will be done.
Yep. And they will be like, perfect. I expect it on Wednesday.
And then they will block it on their Wednesday calendar and forget about it. They feel great about it. You responded right away. You gave them a timeline. They get to tell their boss, who just shoved it down their throat to get it done, what the schedule is, and they get to get off work at 5 and go have that nice dinner with their wife that they were thinking about having, or their husband, and life's good, man.
Yeah.
And you can be a part of making other people's lives good. That's part of exceeding expectations, just so you know.
Yep. That's what I was going to say. And that's exceeding expectations. Okay. Well, I mean, I think that's a perfect end for that topic. I mean, I know we can go on for hours for it, but
and if you think we're crazy, we are.
Absolutely.
We are. We open and admitted crazy people.
That's why we do this.
You're damn right.
So if you want some other crazy topics, please send us an email at questions, plural, at impactfulengineer.com. We'd love to hear what you want to know and hear, so we can answer that. And then if you learn something today or think someone else needs to hear our point of view, because it is most excellent and crazy, please share this show. It is the best way that we can grow and continue this podcast to create value and impact for the engineering community.